probably the greatest of his many triumphs as a reporter was his reporting in the first days of the 2003 U.S. invasion of Iraq. So I was the publisher of the Washington Post for 21 years. There was no question in our minds. We wanted the reporters to get out of there. Anthony did the opposite. He said to his editors, I am begging you to let me stay. I have prepared my whole life to write this story. His life was in danger. We knew it, and he knew it. This was an extraordinarily brave man.
Its own ideologies.
He was really established as sort of the preeminent foreign correspondent, covering the war. He showed in real time with real people what the actual effect on the ground of this policy was. Children, as they were being prepared for burial, a 13-year-old girl who was describing the invasion in her diary, a father who was forced to kill his own son because the son had worked as an informant with the Americans. He could make a 13-year-old girl who's frightened and writing in her diary by the light of a paraffin candle as important as some U.S. general. That was the power of his work. I mean, it's hard to describe Iraq as fun, but it was really so fun to work with Anthony. I wrote with Anthony several times when I was there. We wrote stories together, and honestly, it was like playing with Jordan, I've never seen anybody who could write as well, as fast, and report as deeply as him. And I don't even know how he did it, honestly, because half the time I'd walk into his room and he'd be scrolling through Green Bay Packer blogs.
He called me to tell me that he was hit in the head with a rubber bullet. I mean, I wasn't amused by the story, but to him it was like, can you believe it? I just got hit by a rubber bullet and, it hurt, but to him it was like a new experience. I remember vividly, it's like it just happened when the Egyptian president, Hosni Mubarak, fell. Anthony was in Tahrir Square where all the protesters had been gathered for days, and he called me and he wanted me to listen to all the people in the square all saying at the same time that Mubarak fell. And he just held his phone and, tried to make me listen and really hear. And I could tell he was just so excited to be witnessing such a historic moment, to be there, to capture it, and to experience it with the people who toppled the regime.
What was remarkable yesterday is there was a play on that motto.
He wasn't like an adrenaline junkie or somebody who was there for the thrill of it. He was there for the story, and the story required that kind of risk-taking, and he just took it, I think, as a sort of part of the deal, really.
He didn't like to call himself a war correspondent. I mean, he wasn't there to cover the shooting or the warfare or the street battles. I mean, this is not, you have to, because you are in a conflict zone, so you have to write about all these things. What he really wanted out of being in this situation is to focus and to talk to the people who are caught in the middle of these conflicts.
His stories they had enormous impact. They brought people to life. They empowered people who were otherwise nameless and faceless. And they really changed the way people looked at the war. I mean, totally.
I think one thing that Anthony's work illustrates is that the truth is complicated. He did not go to work in the morning knowing what he was going to write that night. He let the truth come to him. And I think that's what the greatest reporters do.
It makes me really, really happy and really proud that this award is being given in Anthony's name, and it's going to recognize such important stories. He was a funny guy, and sometimes he would just say to me that, let's just quit and go to South Lebanon and raise sheep and make cheese. But at the end of the day, this is what he loved most. He loved writing, he loved reporting, he loved talking to people, he loved uncovering stories. I don't think he would have wanted to be anywhere else.